Hi, everybody. Welcome to PodFest. We're very excited to be here. My name is Lama Osman. I'm the host of Unicorn بالعربي, the #1 entrepreneurship podcast in the region. Very excited to be here again. Today we have a great panel actually, some great guests. I'd love to welcome first, the irony by the way, some side note, two of the people on the panel were my bosses. So I have Luca Al-Alam, please come up. He's the host of the Inside Track. I have Stefano Felleha, the CEO of Podio. I have Claudius as well, Claudius Buller, from the Chief Business Director of Next Broadcast Media. And we have Tamara, let me get your last name right. I need to memorize this, guys. Zubati, yes, Zubati, from CEO of Barometer, all the way from New York, guys. And we have one last, which is Ibrahim Jabri. Where are you, Ibrahim? There we go. The host of Below the Fold podcast. I think they have an extra mic. You all have mics?
We're all good.
Stefano, here. All right. So guys, we've gathered today to talk about the future of podcasting in AI, in advertising, and I really have the best here. I have the ex-CEO of PhD, which is an advertising giant here, Luca. We have a platform, Podio, which is a hosting dashboard, an ad tech platform, and a listening app. We have Claudius from Next Broadcast Media. Next Broadcast Media is also a local advertising platform where creators can advertise with them. And we have Barometer, which, I'm saying it right, Barometer, yeah. So Barometer is where basically they are analyzing transcripts of podcasts and giving them grades within the podcasting world. And of course, we also have someone from the advertising agency, but also is a host of his own podcast, Ibrahim. So kind of giving you guys a little brief of you guys. So welcome, guys. How are you feeling? Good?
Yeah, good. So we both used to manage this young lady, huh?
Yeah.
Well, she managed to get out of the ecosystem and really, we empowered her pretty amazingly well. Lama is amazing talent that really helped shape the industry, in my opinion.
100%. I think me and you need to have a separate conversation about Lama. Huh? We'll compare notes.
I don't know if it's a good idea, guys. Stefano, I'll start with you. Can you tell us more about how Podio's taking care of AI, and is it utilizing it more for the user bases, from the back end? Tell us what you guys are doing with it, please.
Certainly. Thanks, everyone. Really a pleasure to be here. I think really it boils down to empowering and really enabling us to pursue our mission even better, right? What's the mission at the core as a platform? It's to empower creators, enable them to create in a simple way, and really enable them to generate more revenue in partnership with various partners over here, but also to reach channels and expand their audiences. And effectively, when we look at the platform and when we look at integrating AI, well, now we have also very exciting announcement that would come up in the next session, but that's really enabling us to integrate AI across the entire value chain. So we look at dialectical adaptations, we look at cross-border sort of cultural components that helps expand the reach, but also we look at how do we use AI to really specify what channel the podcast is best suited on. So effectively, if you look at all the distribution platforms and really Podio as really the enabler of the distribution, we reach radios, we reach airlines, we reach gaming apps, we reach, if you took a taxi recently in Dubai, you have the RTA, you click on it, you listen to a podcast. And effectively, all these channels are used to expand the reach for creators. So AI and integrating AI into our products is helping us expand and really deliver on this mission.
Amazing. I just took a car just on the way in an RTA, and I was like, God, amazing. This is lovely to see. So please, guys, if you're not hosting on Podio, please do. I'm doing a little advertising because this reach is really great. Ibrahim, I'd like to ask you, since you are kind of in the middle, you are a host, you know, using AI probably with your tools, but also from the advertising angle where you're probably seeing advertisers and planners spend on podcasts. Can you kind of tell me first on the AI tools you use as a marketeer?
Sure. So just to give a little bit of context before I begin, I just want to say that I have a 9 to 5. I have a full-time job working at an advertising agency, and Luca here can testify how demanding that is. So these AI tools have been very beneficial for me to be able to manage the podcast and publish on time every single week. Some of these tools are first, well, Descript, which is a transcription and audio editing tool.
It's a great tool.
It helps me edit the full audio with just editing the text. In one click of a button, I'm able to remove all the mumbling, the hums, the long pauses. And it's just very helpful in the entire post-production, right, part of the podcast. The second one is Opus AI, and there are plenty others out there in the market, thankfully, which helps with creating social media content. It basically feeds off the full form video, right? And it creates these highly engaging short clips, right? That are predicted to generate high engagement on social media. Another one is a usual suspect, which is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is helpful for me to help formulate the discussion points and questions that I have for my upcoming episode. It is also very helpful when it comes to brainstorming, just refining the structure of your podcast. And I also use it to draft captions for some of my social media posts, especially the ones around announcing new episodes. It just does it in like a minute as opposed to spending an hour trying to find the right emojis for the different points. And lastly, one that I've been playing with more recently is Artlist.io, which is basically an AI voiceover tool, which I've used to basically generate dynamic and engaging intros for my episodes.
It's a lot of, I think, play on post-production and marketing of our assets. I think it takes about maybe a 5-hour work down to literally maybe half an hour to make sure that, because you also need to audit, right, what ChatGPT comes up with. It's very exciting. Thank you, Ibrahim. We're going to move to you, Claudius, regarding the shift of advertising and what you guys are doing at Next Broadcast Media. I know you guys are coming up with a new AI tool for your ad manager. Can you give everybody kind of a sneak peek what you guys are building?
Thank you, Lama. Happy to do this, and thanks to the Dubai Press Club for once a year bringing really the entire industry together here and with great partners from abroad, so amazing. So for context, Next Broadcast Media is the leading advertising, audio advertising network here in the Middle East and North Africa region. And big chunk of that growth is really coming from our Ad Manager product, which allows any advertiser within just 3 minutes to produce and publish an audio ad. And what's so fantastic also is that we started out of Dubai. It's a UAE-based and born business, and this product works globally. So we're getting a lot of interest from abroad from advertisers to advertise here in the region, but also Next Broadcast is global. So we're reaching 850 million potential listeners through this aggregating network that the team has built. So and this product works so well that we moved on to the second version, which is in beta now, and it uses pretty much 2 areas to utilize AI, strong partnerships like with the team from Barometer and other partnerships to make it very easy and simple for podcasters and advertisers to really scale up. So what are these 2 areas? It's predominantly, first area is we're indexing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of podcasts almost in real time after they're being released to not just identify location, language, and categorize them, put them in a catalog, but also it goes really into deep context into every niche. And therefore for advertisers, the quality on how they can target is immense. Imagine you're talking about something very, very specific as an advertiser, very specific product, but you can choose from more than 850 million listeners and podcasts in order how to target. So that is where we use, it's not just one AI tool, it is actually lots of external tools. We built our own AI and machine learning that is applied there, and it learns on its own very fast for this indexing. The second part is the production layer. And I really want to say something challenging in a way that the AI production now becomes superior towards the manual production, the traditional production that we all used to when you go to a studio. And why that is really it adds a crazy level of speed in how you can produce at top level quality. It pre-writes the scripts. And again, we're talking about a window of 3 minutes that this platform does it. And creates thousands of different versions of the ad in different languages, different dialects, and builds in a layer of auto-performance optimization. So it identifies, okay, which are those ads that are performing well, and which are the ads that are not performing well, and therefore auto-optimize it. So these are the two areas. So in a nutshell, it's production, but it's also categorizing that you really go highly, highly targeting. And the benefit here for the advertiser is that you can do this in no time, maximize your targeting and your reach, and the production on our platform is going to be free of charge, as it is today.
Amazing. I think that's it's something exciting because the current market, people are paying for audio ads. They're not coming as free. I think it's definitely beneficial. Excited to see it live, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know that there's a partnership between Barometer and you guys. Tamara, tell me more about, I think the audience would love to learn more, what is Barometer, how you guys are actually understanding transcripts, and a bit of intel on the CPM and your grade system. I'd love to understand the grading and how you guys work on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lama, and thank you, Dubai Press Club, for having me here. It's an honor. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Barometer. My name is Tamara. I have a PhD in human-centered AI, and we built Barometer because of the legacy, unfortunate legacy, that brand safety solutions have had historically. As James said in the previous discussion, unfortunately, brand safety solutions have a legacy of blocking. Block, 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 culturally insensitive. And our whole mission is to change that. Barometer's goal is to include as many creators into a podcast buy as possible. And by doing that, to grow the amount of investment that can go into podcasting. But it can be really tricky. As James also mentioned, there's over 300,000 active podcasts. And how can you really know exactly what they're talking about? You really can't. And so that's kind of one of the challenges that we set out to solve. The way that it works is we partner with Speechmatics, the global leader in human-driven transcription. They have the largest corpus of manually transcribed content in any language. Every language. We have access to 18 dialects of Arabic, for example. And we have prioritized through our amazing partnership with Next Broadcast Media, not just beta testing it, but actually validating that the transcripts are accurate, that they're meeting the requirements. It's been an amazing journey. And so I found your question so interesting because of the framing of grading. So Barometer analyzes the content according to various industry standard taxonomies. From the contextual side, we look at the IAB content taxonomy version 3.0. There's hundreds of categories that allow you to be very granular, such as like society and culture, but specific subjects like talking about like relationships or talking about politics. It also allows you to, as an advertiser, to consider being more open-minded about how you're buying, maybe across a variety of publishers. So you can just set your contextual targets and then discover new inventory that maybe you would have never heard of before. From the brand suitability side, there used to be an organization called the Global Alliance for Responsible Media as part of the World Federation of Advertisers. They were disbanded because their practices were part of the problem. And so we're really proud to have been pushing the limits of that organization from when we were in it to now. And we're really ushering in what we're calling an era of contextual suitability. So brand safety isn't really an appropriate thing to say for premium produced podcasts. The term was invented to find terrible illegal content on social media platforms, things that we shouldn't even really mention because they're not present in the top monetized podcasts in the world anywhere. And so once we move past that, they call it the brand safety floor, we're in the space of brand suitability. And brand suitability is in the eye of the beholder. So there's really no right or wrong or good or bad. Everything depends. So for example, and also even within one advertiser, they might have like 7 different campaigns. For one campaign, one thing might be appropriate and other things might be for others. So when it comes to how the grading or the assessment and the tags impact the CPM, there's no difference in terms of like what your assessment is and how much it costs. The idea is that advertisers in other channels have always had this ability to layer on brand suitability targeting and then they pay an incremental CPM uplift to ensure that their standards are met, and that also helps compensate the publishers and the creators so that they get that extra boost. So yeah.
Very interesting. Luca's nodding. And
Thank you.
yeah.
That's great. Please keep giving us that boost. We like it.
Luca is literally, he's at the realm of advertising, but also has now launched his own podcast. I'm sure you guys have driven down Sheikh Zayed Road and have seen his face. Yeah,
Hi,
Yeah,
hi.
he's right here.
Face for podcasting. Over
Yes, literally. And I know that you've really studied, you're both in the industry and understood the pain. So when it comes to planners actually prioritizing their budget for podcasts, you're now a podcaster. What advice do you give them?
Thanks, Lama. Thank you as well for PodFest. To echo what Claudia said, this is a fantastic event. It's my first year here. Really, really happy to be here. A lot of smart people in this room. I've already learned quite a lot over a coffee, and I've already learned quite a lot in the last sort of 5 minutes or so. To give you a little bit, to answer your question, to give you some insight, I've worked 20 years with the biggest advertisers in the world, from London to Dubai to Riyadh to Cairo, you name it. Last year, I took the decision to leave the agency life behind and to launch my own show. And I wanted to take all of the insights from that world into my show and build a show that advertisers can understand and buy into as well. So what have I learned in the last 20 years? I've learned that advertisers want quality. Advertisers want safety. Advertisers don't want to take any risks. Advertisers want to make sure that when they spend their money, they're going to get good returns. Now, if you give an advertiser those 4 things, you're nearly there. In fact, I would say you're all the way there. You just need the numbers to back it up. That's the 5th thing. You need that reach. So in order to really commercialize the podcasting world, you need to get in the mindset of what an advertiser is looking for. If you don't, you're going to continue to struggle. I have to say this. Advertisers in general, not just in this region, do not take a lot of risks. And the ones that do are the ones that get the best results. If you keep doing the same thing as a marketeer every year with a 5% micro enhancement or optimization, you'll get micro changes, you'll get micro enhancements. I ask advertisers and marketers to be a bit more bold in their choices of how to be on a media plan, but I also ask the content creators to stop trying to be too obstinate in their own approach and understand why the advertisers are the way that they are. If you can't give them a brand safe solution, if you can't give them good engagement, if you give them content that is dangerous, that is full of political messaging, that potentially can polarize audiences, it's going to be very difficult for you to make some money. But what I love about on this panel, you've got people from every spectrum of the industry. I'm working with Next Broadcast Media and understanding their platform and how we can sort of launch podcasting in the region to make it a mainstream media vehicle, right? Thanks to the likes of Podio for really exploring and expanding and making it so much easier for us to get accessibility. Barometer, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to tick that box when it comes to brand safety. And my friend from media, I feel the pain. I know the 9 to 5. So my message very simply to marketeers is you need to be a bit braver, you need to be a bit bolder, and to stop thinking traditional. And micro changes don't make any micro growth. If you want to be a content creator, you've got to start thinking a little bit more like an advertiser. If you can marry those both worlds, you're onto something.
Thank you, Luca. So, Stefano, what's next? I mean, I know there's lots of stuff. I've been with you guys for so long, and I'd love to know what's the trajectory for you guys.
Thanks, Lama. There's tons of things that we've proved in the region that can easily be sort of scaled globally. And as we scale globally at this platform, that scale and that reach comes across automatically to all creators and publishers that are using the platform. And all this to say, because when you joined a couple of years back, right, we started as a podcast app, as an Arabic-focused podcast app. We were looking at the subscription models. We were sort of hoping to replicate the streaming model of music into podcast industry by consolidating audiences into one place. Repeatedly failed across global scale with billions of dollars that were being spent on that. And so we had to go with the assumption in the region, but also in emerging markets, that content should be free. And we should align our mission and our purpose and our infrastructure with the needs of the creators, which are effectively more reach and more revenue. And as long as we keep on building the best products and integrating all of the latest technologies across our value chain, then that's just going to keep on expanding the industry, on getting more revenue dollars into the market, and everything that we do as an ecosystem. And I see this as a very friendly ecosystem, like James said earlier, because everyone's trying to help this industry. Everyone's, I don't feel no one's competing with each other. We're all really complementing this ecosystem with the best tools, with the best content, with the best advertisers and the best reach. And so each one plays a specific role in this industry. And as long as what's next for us, we're just going to keep on simplifying the process, keep on building the best tools, the best distribution channels. We did that with airlines, we did that with radios, we did that with ride hailing. As many channels as we're going to be able to facilitate for creators to reach, where it's on the go, it's passive consumption, then we're going to be able to facilitate that. And back to as well the initial question of using multiple tools. Again, that's another mission and that's another sort of component in the platform, because we're really an end-to-end platform that's able to simplify and democratize the process of getting into podcasting. And one number to back it up, since we started until now, the entire industry had probably less than 1,000 podcasts accumulated over a decade. Last 2 years, we enabled the creation and we facilitated the creation of tens of thousands of creators across the region. And that mission is just going to keep on expanding. We're just going to keep aligning our mission with the creators and the publishers. So that's what's next for us.
Good luck, Podio. I actually had a talk with Adil. Is he here? Oh, there you are. Hi, Adil. So I had a talk with Adil, and we were looking at your podcast, actually, Ibrahim, and he was saying how getting sponsored for a podcast, the best recommendation we can give you guys is go niche. You know, do what you know and you're best at, and really master that. And this is what you've done. I mean, you've closed about 12 clients this year alone, right? And by far the most advertised podcast in this region. So I want to really give you a big congratulations, Ibrahim. You've done,
Thank you.
It's a great decision. Let us know about, like, when you first started, you went from which type of category, or let's say content, and then you saw, all right, I'm going to go into a niche product. Can you tell us the thought process with that?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I honed in on a niche segment, it really has allowed me to connect brands with a highly relevant and engaged audience, right? And so, obviously, this has been very beneficial, right, for brands, as niche podcast advertising, unlike broader campaigns, it really ensures that the messaging deeply resonates with the end audience, which in return drives higher conversion rate, right? And based on that, I'm able to charge a higher CPM. Now, brands are willing to pay a higher price when they know that their ads are hitting exactly the right people, especially in an intimate and trustworthy medium like podcast. The other advantage of focusing on a niche is that the ad placement just feels more organic, right? The alignment between the podcast content and the message itself is just more seamless.
So is it programmatic, or you're actually like, hi guys, this episode is sponsored by this brand, and then you mention kind of baked in within the content? Is
Right,
that how
yeah,
you're doing it?
so far it's been obviously sponsorships.
Okay.
Right, because my podcast is very niche, right, and relevant, it doesn't have that scale for me to be able to monetize substantially from programmatic, but it's been very successful when it comes to brand sponsorships. So yeah, this alignment is very effective, right, between the actual content of the podcast and the message, it is driving better results for the advertiser. It is helping the podcast or increase the value of the podcast as an advertising platform. And with this basically offering, I am able to place my podcast as an expert in the space. I'm able to command premium rates, right? And also, I am able to secure clients deals that, or secure clients that understand the value behind niche podcast audiences.
You have a case study, so it's like, all right, here you go, this is what I've done. it's easy to
100%.
onboard new
Yeah,
clients.
it's been working for me when it comes to revenue and client retention. And I think it's also ultimately showing that quality and relevancy are more important in advertising than just sheer volumes and reach. Yeah, or as one of my recent guests said on the show, spray and pray.
That's interesting. Thank you, Ibrahim. This is going to be our last questions, guys. I'm sorry, we're run out of time. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Dubai Press Club. I hope you've all learned as much as we have. And thank you for our guests.
Thank you.